Hello, everyone. Welcome to Show and Tell. My name is Aicha Bash. I'm a cloud advocate at Microsoft. Today, we have special guests, Lydia and Omar. They're here to tell more about their project, Orca. But before we start, hi, Lydia. Hi, Omar. How are you doing?
Hi,
Hi.
good. You?
Yeah, I'm great too. So, before we start talking about your project, can you tell us a little bit more about yourself? What do you do these days?
Yeah, sure. I'm Lydia, and here with us is Omar. First, I would like to say we are really excited to be here with you today. Let me tell you a bit about us. We are master students studying at University College London, and UCL's Industry Exchange Network program enabled us to work on this project in collaboration with Microsoft as a part of a course within our degree.
Wow, that's awesome. So, Omar, would you like to add anything else?
Yeah, so I think Lydia pretty much covered everything. We were basically working on the same project along with some other students. They weren't able to join us today, sadly, but they're all pretty excited about the project in general. It's been a nice couple of months working on this.
Awesome. We are even more excited to hear more about your awesome project in University College London. So let's get started hearing more about it. What is Orca?
So Orca basically stands for an online register for classes with analytics. And it's a system designed to help academic institutions like schools or universities to understand how their students are attending and engaging with online learning. Basically, it can generate visual reports like Power BI dashboards or attendance sheets based on student engagement metrics so that academic faculty and staff can make more informed decisions on how they should tailor their online learning approach and make sure that no student is left behind. And the great thing about Orca is that it's fully open source and free. So anyone can basically install it on their own IT infrastructure or on the Azure cloud.
I love having everything open source. Plus, I think it's a really nice project when it comes to COVID situation right now, right? What inspired you to build this project?
So I'm sure you've heard this a million times, but with the COVID-19 pandemic, our lives have been heavily disrupted, and academia is no exception. So a lot of schools and universities have had to, switch to an online first approach when it comes to, learning. And that means that there are quite a few challenges involved with that. It's rarely a very seamless transition. And the main challenges are the fact that, first of all, there is no, central location where students and, teaching staff meet. So it's very hard to make sure that everyone's getting the attention that they need and that nobody's falling behind. So, it's hard to keep track of attendance in general and motivation. And a second challenge is the fact that it's very hard to quantify how engaged students are with the material. A lot of institutions, we've seen this firsthand in the UK, struggle to know how they should design their online learning material, or they should focus more on live lectures via video conferencing, or maybe have more pre-recorded lectures which students can go through on their own time. And a lot of universities, for example, have sent out surveys to students to ask them like, what do they prefer? But often these are, rarely filled out. There isn't enough data to make informed decisions. And the goal of Orca is specifically to help visualize and synthesize all of this data that you can collect from how students engage with online content, so that schools and universities can say, okay, maybe we should actually offer more live lectures with tutors and whatnot, or maybe we should have more lab sessions because that's what students mostly attend.
I think this will continue as is even after COVID, because having this such a nice way of joining the classes online would definitely improve some of the quality of the lectures as well. And definitely this is inspiring. That's why we would like to hear more what developers should do to build a project like yours. What technologies did you use, and how did you build your project? We would like to learn a little bit more about the technical side of the stories.
Okay, so let me show you the design of Orca. So Orca allows institutions to gain insights about students' attendance and engagement with online platforms. To accomplish this, the Orca system integrates with Moodle and Microsoft Graph. So Microsoft Graph and Moodle send out notifications to Orca whenever students interact with Microsoft Teams and Moodle respectively. Then Orca standardizes this data into a common format and stores them into SharePoint lists for access and review by the relevant teaching staff. Orca also gives the option to store student engagement data in a database, which can be exposed to Power BI dashboarding service, and that can be embedded into SharePoint, allowing staff to visualize how students interact with all this online content. So, in terms of technologies that we used, Orca is a .NET 5 application implemented in C Sharp. The core of the system is an event aggregator where all the data from these two different sources are being collected. The event aggregator interfaces with two pluggable API adapters that access these metrics that were generated by student use of Moodle and Microsoft Teams. And these metrics are then transformed into a common format and stored so that they can be used for future analysis. Orca can also be automatically deployed to the Azure cloud, or it can be configured to run on a custom on-premise Windows, Linux, or macOS machine. We also have some PowerShell scripts and precompiled binaries that are provided in our GitHub releases page to automate some of the configuration and deployment. But this can also be manually configured. Orca also makes use of Azure Resource Manager templates to define the resources it requires to run on Azure Cloud. So by packaging a script which dynamically generates an ARM template, we can automatically provision and configure a web server and an optional database to run Orca on the cloud within a couple of minutes. If a database was selected, the script can also generate Power BI dashboards, which automatically connect to this database. So that was mostly it about the whole design of Orca, but we can show you a demo to understand better how it works.
I think that would be awesome. Let's see it in a demo. So I believe most of the developers will understand a little bit more with seeing the demo.
Yeah, sure. Let's move on to that. So let's say, for example, that I'm a lecturer at a university and I want to set up a course that I'm going to be teaching online. So using Microsoft Teams, I'm going to create a team for that course called Comp 098. And normally this would be done automatically by, the IT system within university, but we're just going to do this manually for the sake of the demo. And I'm going to add the relevant students, which will be Jane Day, represented by Lydia with us today. So once that's done, I have my team, and I'm going to schedule a weekly meeting, which will represent my lectures, basically, for the course. So I'm going to call it synchronous class. And I'm going to add the students in here. So I'm going to add Jane Day. and I'm gonna send out an invitation. Now, once that's done, I actually need to register the class within the Orca system so that it knows that should gather analytics data for it. So I'm going to copy the URL that lets me join the meeting from Teams, so that link over there that you can see. And since Orca integrates with SharePoint, we host a course catalog that's automatically generated on a dedicated SharePoint site of the institution's choosing. So I'm going to register my course there, which is Comp 098. And I'm going to add the join web URL of the Teams meeting, which I'm going to copy again. And this basically means that whenever students join this meeting, they're attending Comp 098. So once that's done, I'm going to join the meeting and start my class over here. And once that's done, I'm basically going to wait for students to join in and start my lecture.
Okay, now let's say I'm the student Jane and I'm registered in Comp 098. I can see it in my calendar there that there is a meeting right now, so I can click join and join that online lecture. Once I join, I can just sit back and enjoy the lecture. And once it is over, I can just click leave without doing anything else.
All right, so let's say that the lecture is over now, and I want to check, if anyone didn't manage to attend, if I should make sure that they need some sort of help. So Orca is going to generate attendance sheets for me on SharePoint. So I'm going to have a dedicated page on the SharePoint site for Comp 098 with data filled in by Orca automatically. So if I go to the navigation bar here on the top right, there should be Comp 098. It's over there, yep. And normally we should see that Jane has attended. So, all right, we see there's an entry over here with Jane Day, who attended the weekly lecture, which was basically a meeting. And so this has been, a demo of how Orca can generate attendance sheets to make sure that, students are attending, and if not, they might need some dedicated help. The great thing about SharePoint is that you can manage access with, any Office 365 identity system, so it seamlessly integrates with, what many institutions already use. But there is another aspect of Orca, which is more about engaging with online material that isn't, regarding live video lectures. So for example, content via Moodle. And, in this second demo, we're going to see how Jane is going to interact with content on Moodle, and we'll have, members of the academic institution being able to see how students are engaging.
So now let's say I'm Jane again, and I can sign into Moodle to check some resources for my Comp 098 course. I can just sign in, and then I can do whatever I want there. For example, I can join the discussion forum, check what other students have written there, or maybe after that I can check my assignments, so I can take note of the deadlines as I would normally do.
So let's say that I'm now, part of the teaching administration staff at the institution, which decides what the overall vision for teaching should be. Orca is going to generate Power BI dashboards for me, which I can embed in SharePoint as well, so I can get a sense of how students across the university or school are engaging with online content. So over here, there should be a Power BI dashboard generated by Orca that's loading right now and connected to a database. I can see that I have 4 students in my university. It's a small university, so be patient. And you can see that I, for example, have a breakdown of the different activities by different students. I can filter on specific students as well, see if they're attending lectures, watching videos, or maybe, posting on the forum. And notice that there are no students who've been unengaged for the past 30 days, which is a pretty good sign. I can also check individual courses because, maybe a specific approach doesn't work for a given course, and I want to know, all right, maybe for Comp 098, a specific style should be adapted, and maybe students aren't using the forum all that much, maybe they prefer more lab exercises. So nobody's been unengaged for the past 30 days out of the students enrolled in this course, which is good. And I can see where the different kinds of activities that are usually most popular for it. And based on that, I can, carry out certain decisions, make recommendations to different lecturers on how they should maybe approach learning. And that hopefully should make the online learning experience, which is most likely here to stay for the future, at least in a blended fashion, better for everyone. And so that's it for the demo. I hope it makes it clear what Orca is all about and how it can be useful to institutions in general.
This is truly inspiring, and after seeing the demo, I realized that you leverage from Graph a lot to get all these Microsoft 365 data in the background of your app, which is awesome. And I feel like you totally use the power of Graph in your app a lot while combining your solution with Teams. So I believe a lot of developers will be interested, checking out, learning more about Orca. Where can they find more about Orca? Is there any place they can go and check out? Because you mentioned it is open source, right?
Yeah. So we actually have a GitHub repository. Let me share it right now. So it's under github.com/UCL Orca. And basically everything you need is on this repository. You've got installation instructions, packages, documentation, how to use the system in general. So definitely that's the go-to for the project, and anyone is more than welcome to contribute if they want or make suggestions. Other than that, we also have a blog post. I guess we can send out a link later on because it's pretty verbose. And it talks in general about our experience, the team that was working on it, how we got the project working, and future work in general.
This is amazing. So if developers want to use your project on their own country, maybe in their own schools, institutes, they can just get it from your GitHub repo. They can also contribute to maybe improve and add some new features, which is awesome. It's a new way of collaborating with Orca project too. I hope we see new versions upcoming. So thank you so much, Lydia and Omar. This was amazing. We will definitely share the links in the description so all of the developers can go ahead and check quickly more about Orca. So I really appreciate you both joining us today in this video. So hope to see a lot more coming from Orca in the future. Thank you so much. So thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe to see more Microsoft 365 developer videos. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.